How's this latest wave of injuries impacting you and your groups?
Next man up. Next man up. You know, our team has done a good job of responding whenever we've, suffered one of those injuries, especially when a guy goes to IR. Guys need to now take on, bigger responsibility and step up. So I think those guys have done a good job, the entire roster.
You've been around the league a long time. Have you ever seen something quite like this? Not just injuries, but season-ending injuries to such, kind of key players, starters?
I don't know if I remember a year where you've had that many guys go to IR, but to our players' credit, we've done a good job of rallying around each other and playing complementary ball and next man up. Our guys have responded pretty well, I feel.
We've talked about Corey before, just the season he's having, but how about that one punt from last week where he really flipped the field from back in your end to inside their 20, I think?
Great play in the game, changed, the entire field position for us. We covered it well. We need to be a little bit more consistent with our hangs and our distances. But no, he's done a great job. All three of the specialists have done a tremendous job for us so far.
Does he get off 80-yarders like that every once in a while? Like, I know you guys film everything, so.
I mean, he's got a powerful leg. He really does. His ability to hit for distances, it really is truly remarkable. And, we need to continue to improve on hitting with good hang and distance and direction is going to be important, especially in these next few games.
Speaking of distance, Dustin gets another one beyond 50. Was 55 right about the margin of what you were comfortable with going in?
It was close. Yeah, I know Kevin and I talked about it quickly. I mean, we talked about it pregame and then circled back at halftime, and then obviously on that last drive, we had a quick conversation about can we hit it, and so we both agreed yes. So had the obviously you have the confidence in the player at that point to follow through for us. In the operation, the protection is great on it, and he answers with the kick. So credit to him. He's done an incredible job the entire year. Love the kid, love the work ethic, the consistency every day. So he's had a special year.
What can you say about the fact that he's gone 8 for 8 on 50 plus? I mean, how remarkable is that, especially considering that he didn't really have that track record coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it goes back to practice, execution equal game reality. That's what's happened. He's done a good job in practice, the practice reps, the week in, week out, the consistency. He's really been the best kicker in football, in my opinion. He really has. I mean, we play in conditions that are not easy. Our stadium's not easy to kick in. We played games outside in weather, and he's done a great job. He's been the best in the league, in my opinion.
Definitely a Pro Bowler in your mind, obviously.
I mean, it's not even a question to me.
He broke a ground record with that field goal on Sunday. Dustin, just kind of going off that, though, how important is that for him, just as he's gotten acclimated to his team throughout the season, had the success he's had, for him to come in and just be so successful?
I think that whenever you can lean on your kicker to put points on the board, it helps the team, obviously, because you just have the confidence in him to do so, and everyone on the roster, everyone in the building trusts him to come through. And it really starts with Charlie, then it's to Corey, then it's to him on their work and their preparation, and then our protection. So that whole unit's done a nice job and embraced their role, and hopefully we can continue to do positive things on that unit moving forward in the next few games.
With Corey hitting the ball the way he does in that distance, how have you guys had to work with the coverage to play off of that and know he's going to hit a far ball, but maybe doesn't have that hang time yet or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, ideally you don't want to have a 60-yard punt at 4.3 hang time. You want to match the distance with the hang, and the better that we can do that, the better off our coverage will be. So I think that, here and there, some of those, when you hit a big ball like that, a lot of time, like if you hit a ball at 70 yards, there's times where, you're probably not going to be able to catch the ball. So we need to be consistent at placing the ball at direction and hang. So.
How important has James Prochet been to this punt return unit? I mean, it seems like every time he gets the ball, he's going forward for positive yards, never backwards, putting the offense in the best position possible.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to be able to get as many yards for our offense as possible. If we can get a first down, and then whatever else comes on top of that is great. And to his credit, he did a great job on our hands unit at the end of the game to secure that win. I like the kid. He works extremely hard as well. You can see him anytime Corey's hitting live balls, he's out there catching them. So, we a lot of times we'll have a period in the early part of practice, and rather than him like in the stretch line, he's catching the punts. So he's put in a lot of work, I would say, and even before the Ravens game where he had the muff, the mishap there, it's been like it's heightened even since then. So.
But you've had Ronnie Hickman and D'Anthony Bell, on your units all year long, and now it seems like they're going to be counted on more on defense. So just what have you seen from them, being in your meetings, being in your groups all season long? Yeah,
I think, when guys go down, opportunities arise at other positions. It's been like that in the NFL forever. So I think for them, just understanding that it's their opportunity to get more defensive time and more defensive reps, and they have all done a really good job of embracing whatever role they've had for me. D-Bell's been really like a four-phase guy for me. His role will lessen. And then it's the other guys that are going to step up in those spots. So they've been great contributors for me, and they're going to help our defense out as well.
Can you tell when you're working with them that it's going to translate to defense when they have to take on a bigger role?
Yeah, I think so. You can see. The thing that I like about like for instance, like D-Bell, I think he's a pretty instinctive kid, and when he's playing fast and aggressive on defense, you see him making plays. It showed up in preseason, and I think you guys will see that. The more opportunities he gets on that side of the ball.
We've asked you about Pierre before, I think, but it seems like every week we see him make a play in coverage.
Yeah.
And he did against Jacksonville, obviously. How has he been for you as I know he's doing kick return, but in punt coverage, how good has he been?
Yeah, Pierre's been great. Pierre can fly too. He ran like 4.37 at the combine. He's fast. He gave me a lot of crap this past week. South Dakota State beat Villanova in the playoffs. So I'm not happy about that. I'll have to wear a South Dakota State jersey tomorrow to my meeting, which is unfortunate. No, but he's been great for our unit. He really has been, and his coverage impact has been great for our unit. He's done a good job, not only on punt. He's done a great job on kickoff too. He's made a number of tackles on that unit. But no, he's definitely been a positive for us, and I'm really glad that AB made that move to get him at the end of camp.
Hey, the NFL is going to re-examine kickoffs again. I think Troy Vincent called it like a dead ceremonial play yesterday.
Yeah.
What's the kind of, I know they changed a lot of the rules for player safety. What would be your hope that or what adjustment do you think they could make that would?
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some things written about like adopting the XFL style of kick, and I don't know. I feel like, in my opinion, you guys know how I feel about the kickoff and my feelings about it, and returning kicks and forcing kicks, and me personally, I don't like the game to not have a kickoff. I think it's just gimmicky whenever you don't. To me, if you want to fair catch it, fair catch it. If you want to return it, return it. But I don't think taking the kickoff out of the game is the solution. Me personally, I think that I'd be fine. I'd be content if we just kept it how it is. Like, if you want to fair catch, fair catch. If you don't, then don't. So I'm content how it is, honestly. Like, I wasn't sure how I would initially take on the fair catch rule. To me, it's not an unsafe. First off, it's definitely not an unsafe play. If you watch the film, Like, and you watch offensive and defensive clips, the kickoff is it's not an unsafe play. Like, there's now, I don't.
Changes though, has it gotten better because of that?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, like, this is obviously clearly my opinion, but like, because of how you can't have wedge in the back end. The only double teams can be formed by those guys that are in the setup zone. Like, the play is much safer to me. It really is. So, I mean, that's my opinion. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Kicker's another guy who's booming the 50-yarders and has a really nice field goal percentage. So what are you most worried about, with him and the Bears special team?
He's been a good consistent kicker since he's been in the league. I remember head coaching against him. I'm not sure when his first year in the league was. I want to say 15. We were against him, and I remember charting his kicks whenever I was in New England. And he's just been a consistent player, since he's been in the league. When he was in Kansas City, now he's in Chicago. Obviously had a really good year a couple years ago and hitting a high percentage now. Overall, their group, I think it's a solid group overall. Santos has done a great job. Travis Homer's a good player for them. They got good returners. Trent Taylor is a good punt returner, sure-handed guy. Velas Jones, I really liked him coming out of school, explosive, can get to the field. Really good speed and toughness in him. But they have a good group overall, and like every week, we're excited for the challenge to go against them. Really familiar with this head coach. Obviously, had been with Flus here when he was in Cleveland. He coached me, and then obviously was on the staff with him in Indy. So I know one thing. I know that this is a football team that plays with high effort, and they are attacking the football. So it'll be an important thing for our entire team, not just in the kicking game, but on offense, to protect the football, because those guys, they run to the football and they punch at the ball and they swipe at the ball. So that'll be a huge priority for our team this week.
When you talk about how the team has been able to rally around each other despite all the injury, how does Kevin go about setting that message and setting that tone?
Well, I think whenever you have, like, when you sustain injuries, you're really using, like, you obviously are acquiring players when those injuries happen and guys go to IR, but you're using the practice squad as like an extension of the roster. So the better, he's at least communicating with the coaches like that we need to develop those players that are on the practice squad, because they're really an extension of the roster. Those are the next guys that we're looking to play and elevate. So, his communication to the coaching staff at the beginning of the season, and obviously the players understand that you got to be ready to go. You got to prepare every week like you're playing in the game. I think our coaching staff has done a really good job of rallying and preparing those players that are having more opportunities now due to injury. And our guys seem to me like they're prepared and, ready for, to compete.
On the shirt today?
Which one? This one? The best defensive player in the world? Huh? No, that's just my work shirt, going to work. Coach has adopted the theme of, we have to work, and I end up getting these for the coaches and players, so it's kind of like almost like a camaraderie thing. Yep, I'm ready.
Tough week on the injury front.
Yeah.
When would Joel become I know he's always an option to slide out, but is that even more possible now than ever?
I don't think so. I don't. I think our tackles played well last week. Really proud of James and Jerron, both those guys, to throw it 45 times against those edge rushers and have one sack. That was really an RPO that wasn't on the line. It's really impressive. So, yeah, he's always available, and he's done it. But I feel confident in the way our guys are playing.
What can you say about the game that Joe had and his first victory and how well he did?
He did great. I mean, it was he's getting back into the groove, I think, now, and starting to feel confident in the play calls and what we're asking those guys to do, and it showed. Like whatever little rust he had is looking like it's knocked off now. He's playing at a high level, again, like the way he's seeing the field, and his ability, again, to be accurate at all three levels has been impressive.
89 passes in 2 games. Is that too much? Is it just how it worked out? What's it say about Joe? What's it say about how the games have gone?
Yeah, I mean, I think it shows Joe how much confidence we have in him in the pass game. I think that's the key part there. You're going to play differently each week. Just so happens the last 2 weeks we felt like we had some good matchups in the pass game. That changes week to week, but obviously we feel confident with his ability to make decisions and read the field and make the throws. So probably has something to do with it.
As you guys prep for this week, looking at the Bears defense, what does it allow the opportunity for your passing game against their pass defense?
Yeah, really good defense. The record wasn't an indication of how good they're playing on defense. Really, the last 4 games, playing at a high level. The scheme is really good. I think there's some change philosophically over the course of the season of how that defense is running compared to earlier in the season. So definitely some challenges there. Really good corner, to the field. I think he's one of the premier corners in the league. So definitely presents some challenges. Their nickel, really good cover corner, nickel as well. So they definitely present some challenges in the pass game.
You mentioned the sack on the RPO. Has Joe done a lot of that in his career, RPOs? Because it looked like he ran a handful of those.
Yeah, we did. And that was, it's not hard, I don't think. I don't think just because he's a taller pocket passer, you can't run RPOs. You're just reading a defender on the field. So I wasn't as surprised by the reaction, as everybody else. But, yeah, that was an RPO. We got a little, tried to do a little too much there and held on the ball too long. But, yeah, I think it's not, unrealistic for a pocket passer to run RPOs.
You talked about how good his play action is, Joe, with the little, hand movements and what have you. Is that the reason that those plays were as wide open as they were to David and to even little David?
Yeah, really, the last one was a drop back to D. Bell. That was cool. Just zero pressure. What a great job he did of hanging in, knowing exactly the protection was blocked exactly how we had to have it blocked. Kareem laid out, blocked the guy in the A gap, which was awesome. We drifted away from the B gap pressure guy, and that
You can draw it up.
yeah, as far as just how we operated in that key situation on a 4th down is really impressive with those guys, and proud of the way we handled that. Yeah, but the play action, we go back to your really strong play action fakes. The touchdown to David, the second one, really good play action. The back did a great job of picking up the pressure right in the A gap or B gap to his side. And the linebackers really bit down on that run action, and that allowed Dave to pop out of the backside. But, he's got big hands, so you could do a lot with that ball in the play action part of that.
Have you had anyone with more arm talent than him in your career?
As far as just talented arms, Aaron obviously was extremely talented passer. Maybe is not the velocity that he has, but the accuracy for sure. As far as velocity and down the field throws, probably not.
How much of, these last 2 games, I think it was 9 receivers and then 8 in this past game, how much of that is, what you guys have drawn up offensively, and how much of that is, Joe just reading the field and finding ways to distribute? Is that by design, that having this many receivers involved?
We definitely pinpoint guys to do certain things. For example, the touchdown that David Bell had, that was his route. We felt really confident he would make a great decision on that route. So guys definitely get put into spots where we're going to use their skill set for them to be successful. And then that's a portion of that. And then the other part of that is just reading the defense and getting the ball to the open player.
So going back under center more, does that change a whole bunch? Does it boost the offense at all? Is it a lot different for you guys?
It's just a different approach. We did a lot of the stuff, same type of plays from the gun, just allowing us under center. It does have a little more pull in the play action game when you get under center. That's definitely true.
Alex, is there something to be said about, Joe coming in fresh, at this time of year, that, he hasn't taken kind of the pounding that most of the other quarterbacks in the league have?
Oh, I think so, for sure. He's fresh as a daisy right now and feeling great. And there aren't many players in the league right now that are feeling great at this time of the year.
Alex, how much differently are you doing with the offense right now versus what you would have maybe been doing it. Deshaun Watson was still out there.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, there's differences for sure. I would put it back into the Jacoby time when he played when we were under center more. The good news is we've been through that and we know how to operate in both.
More along those lines, is this more like Kevin's bread and butter, if you will? I mean, what he's most comfortable and familiar with in terms of an offense with kind of a traditional pocket passer?
Yeah, I think so. I think Kevin does a great job of adapting to whoever is there, and I think that's one of the things that makes him such a great coach is his ability to be flexible and adapt and change. And definitely that's probably an area that feels most comfortable. Coming from the systems that he was in, but I mean, I think we change and we can do as much as we need to do depending on who our players are.
If Poser can't play, your heavy formation's now a little more limited because of depth.
It's a little different. We'll still have some of those situations. I thought the guys did a great job. Nick, obviously, coming in and playing for Poe last week, huge way he stepped up. And then that put Harrison into some different spots into those packages. So a lot of changing game day on the sideline to get everybody lined up correctly. Jobs changed for sure. It definitely had an effect, but we'll work through that.
I know you're one of a few teams that have 4 quarterbacks and over the course of the matches. As you guys have throughout the season just kind of adapted to the quarterback uncertainty, like what would you say has just allowed you guys to be so successful with just the uncertainty throughout the season?
Obviously it starts with Kevin, and I think is the mindset for him is we're always going to try to put whoever that person is behind center in the best position for them to be successful. All starts with the quarterback. If we can play to his skill set, whatever that is, that's going to help us all. And I think he's done a great job of how we design the plan each week for each guy that's playing, and then how the game's called as well. So really, I think it's a hat off to Kev.
Alex, David had such a big first half, right? And I don't think he caught any balls in the second half. Did they really do did they adjust defensively to take him out?
Not so much. It was just kind of how the game went at that point. His plays were big early, and then we kind of we were attacking other places later in the game. But great game for him, obviously. He's done an outstanding job all year, not just as a player, but as a teammate. We give out the awards for the pickups each week. He won last week. He's not only being productive, he's being a great teammate, and he's having a heck of a year. I'm proud of him.
Alex, a couple of players have mentioned recently about the next man up thing, that the younger guys or the role players have done a really good job developing behind the scenes to make sure that they are ready to step in and contribute right away. So my question is, have you guys changed anything this year with maybe like behind the scenes development to make sure that guys are ready, or do you feel like it's just more initiative from the guys that aren't getting those reps?
Yeah, no, there's a ton of work that goes on behind the scenes, not on the practice field. Our young coaches do a great job of getting the extra work with those guys, whether it's Scott Peters or John DeCoster working with the younger players off to the side, Callie working with Sed and some of the younger receivers, getting them ready. There's a lot of work that goes in on the side to get those guys ready, but it is important. We do feel like we do a good job of developing the young players, so when they do have a chance to play, they're ready to go.
Back to getting that ball spread around. Is there more that you guys can unfold with this offense, and does that play a part in it, Joe's ability to get that ball to different receivers and have that diversity?
Oh, definitely. I think it definitely, you got to defend the whole field. You got to defend every player. And the more you can spread it around, the more they can isolate on, your top guys. So, if they're spending more time with Dave and Amari, then that should open up Sed and Elijah and the other guys. So, it only helps the whole offense the more players touch the ball.
Alex, sorry if you were asked this already, but what was the biggest improvement in Flacco's second game?
Oh, man, probably just operation. Knowing where the snap points were, the cadence work that we did. We do a lot of motions and shifting, so just a fuller understanding of just really operation to that point. I think he's...
The second game?
Yes, yeah, and we'll keep loading more things on as we get more familiar with the system with Joe. But, I think that was really clean last week in our operation, minus the false starts, but we did a nice job there.
Alex, there's been some guys in the locker room talking about just the poise of Flacco out on the field and key moments. Just how valuable is that for you guys, especially at this key stretch Or you're trying to kind of finish it off and earn that playoff berth?
Yeah, he definitely brings a calming presence. I think for the amount of games he's played in his career, it's not too big, obviously, and he's seen a lot of football. So he definitely brings a calming factor to that sideline for those guys, I'm sure, in the huddle as well.
A couple more.
Alex, how much does Sweat change that Bears pass rush?
Oh, definitely. Skilled pass rusher, good against the run, really good player, big, strong, physical, power rusher. He's definitely helped them a ton since he's gotten there.
Alex, in terms of unlocking more with the pass game, Amari's obviously been playing banged up, and he's done that throughout his career. But even just in that respect, do you think that alone is a lot more left to be mined there between their connection?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're just scratching the surface, I think, as we get to know each other. I go back to the Rams throw on 3rd and 14 where he just, two guys had not worked together a ton that were on the same page. So that'll continue to grow.
How happy were you to see David Bell get to the end zone
Oh,
Sunday?
man. There's a picture, I don't know if you guys get out to the front, but on the big screen out there's that picture of Dave smiling as he's going into the end zone. That just made my day. Like, how happy was he and how happy was everybody for him, too. I think Joel was the first guy down to celebrate with him. Thanks, guys.